against her, even against my own family, because I understood what type of position she was in, because I had been in that type of position before with my own family. So because of that, I was rooting so hard for her. So that's one of the things that kind of hurt me the most, to have a turnaround moment and feel like she wasn't in my corner. That really did hurt me. It really did. And I didn't know at that moment, in that moment, I didn't know if it was because she was making up with them, that she felt like she had to back off of defending me. I didn't know what it was at that moment. I was confused. Um and but most definitely hurt by it. Why didn't you tell her there and then? It wasn't the time. I couldn't. I couldn't. I was too upset. I was too in my feelings, and I wanted to wait until I could calm down and see things rationally, because a lot of times, especially, I know that about myself, when I'm in my feelings, a lot of times I don't see things rationally. And so I wanted to wait until I had a clearer head, to move forward with that conversation. Unfortunately, that moment was taken from me. And it was taken from me, by the person who took this situation and blew it up and made it something that it really was not at all. Like, it was not anything like what this person tried to make it. Even if you listen to the phone conversation is after I had spoken to Melody, and this is after I find out what's going on, because I didn't even know what was going on. I had talked to my mom. I was frustrated, so that night I went straight to sleep. I wake up the next morning, and I'm trying to get out of there. I'm getting ready to leave. And Mel was calling. She did call a few times because I was in the shower. I was trying to get ready to go, so I didn't pick up right away. But when she kept calling, it was just like, okay, something got to be wrong. So I answered, and I told her, I was like, I'm in the shower, I'll call you right back. And she was like, make sure you call me right back. And I was like, okay. So when I got out of the shower, I did call back, and she was like, what's this, going on with this boy? He said this and this and blah. And I'm like, huh? I hadn't talked to him. I didn't know what was going on. So after I talked to her, I called my mom, and my mom was like, Keisha, I'm so sorry. I did talk to Anthony, and I was just like, oh my God, mama. At that point, I was just like, damage control. Cause then I had to go and watch what he said, and we that's when y'all hear the conversation take place. In that moment, I'm really frustrated. And so I don't say a whole lot because I'm thinking and trying to figure out. I'm pissed, number one, because this was nobody's place to go and say anything about anything. That's a moment that was taken from me. I was going to have that conversation with my friend when I got ready. The only thing I did was vent it to my mom about what happened. And again, unfortunately, my mom talked to somebody she felt like she could trust. Because just like he did Melody, he would always hit us up and say, hey, if Keke need this or if she need that, I got this or I got that. And that's what it was. He always act like he was looking out. He always hit me up and said, hey, how you doing? Everything okay? I wouldn't go so far as to say that we were like friends like that. And then he put out about the $100. Now I did ask him for $100, but this is the thing. When we did that last interview we did, I told Anthony, I said, Anthony, a lot of people want this interview, but since you my boy, I'm gonna look out, I'm gonna give you the interview. I'm charging 500, but I'll charge you 350. Cool. He never said nothing else about the money after the interview. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe he forgot. And so I even asked my husband, I'm like, well, I don't want to offend him. Should I, and I got to get out of that. Should I just ask him for the money, or like, he was like, yeah, just be honest with him, ask him for the money. I should have taken his advice. I didn't do that. I felt like, well, maybe if I ask him like to borrow $100, then he'll be like, well, you know what? Let me just go on and give you the money I owe you. Or this will be toward the money that I owe you. And I would have been like, okay, cool. That didn't happen. And it's like, you owe me. We had that conversation. Like, come on, stop. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. For what? Just be honest. We had that conversation. But it's cool. I'll take the minus 250. It's cool. Um um that was it. So that's how all of that happened. And it's like that whole scenario was wrong. That was a hot seat exercise they do in treatment for substance abuse. It was brutal. I have 24 years of sobriety and it should have never happened. I cried. Oh, well, thank you for your empathy. I really appreciate that. I did too. I was very upset. I held it. I held it throughout that whole thing, but I was very upset by that whole session. Um, how did you expect Melody to empathize with you when she was dealing with RP, which, in my opinion, the entire cast saw, and there was no one there giving Melody any empathy? Well, let me say this first. You don't really know what happened because you didn't see everything. Y'all don't see everything. Okay. That's one. You don't know what kind of empathy she was giving behind the scenes. Just because they didn't show it does not mean it didn't happen. That's one. I'm sure that most women empathize with her when it came to that. And and myself included, as I've said many times, and that was not something that we were dealing with in that moment. In that moment, we were dealing with what you see us dealing with. So just because somebody else is dealing with something, if I'm dealing with something as well, that doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop what I'm dealing with to talk about. So what am I supposed to say in that moment? Oh well, we ain't gonna talk about this. We let's talk about the RP. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't make sense. So it's okay. They all think Mel is Superwoman. She's supposed to deal with her enemy and everyone else's. No, I never asked anybody to deal with my enemies too. But I can, okay, if that's the case, I'm dealing with my own shit. How you expect me to sympathize with RB? I have my own shit I'm dealing with. So how do you expect me or think that I can be Superwoman? That's what friends do in a time of need. Friends help friends deal with whatever situation. I'm talking about in the moment. In the moment. If I have a car accident and then the next day I see somebody else on the side of the road having a car accident, I'm supposed to say, well, I just had a car accident yesterday, so I can't help you deal with yours. That don't make sense. In the moment, that's what we were dealing with. We were not dealing with that in the moment. Folks talking about Mel being a friend, but you didn't defend your friend at the reunion. You called Mel a liar, saying Marceau wouldn't joke about your addiction. No, I never called her a liar. One, let me get this straight. One, I never said I didn't believe Mel. I believed her the whole entire time. What I said was this. Now, I don't even know if they got all of it. What I said was this. You know what? I would like to believe that he wouldn't joke about something like that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I knew what I believed. I believed it the whole time. I never said I didn't. But in that moment, I said, you know what? Because we were trying to make amends. I said, you know what? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Because I would like to believe that you wouldn't do that. I would like to believe that. Although I knew that he had joked about it. I knew that. But since we were making amends, I tried to put a little bit of ease and give a little bit of grace for something that I knew that he did that I could have came out full guns blazing, but I chose not to because we were moving forward. So I never called anybody a liar. Let's get that straight as well. Mia always speaks very highly of you. She always praises you. I agree. Likewise. Likewise. I've never said one negative thing about her. Ever. I hate that she feels betrayed in this situation. I understand because but he just made it a whole lot worse than it really was, honestly. A whole lot worse. Um no, y'all, I really do know the difference between betrayed and portrayed. I was being facetious. Um Mel did say that. She said she told you to call Neil. So basically you mad at Mel because you saw her going hard for Tisha. No, I don't think she was going hard for Tisha. I just didn't like the way that and I wasn't mad about it, but I did not, you can not like something but not be mad about it. In that moment I wasn't mad. I didn't get mad until after the counseling session. That's what made me mad. But I didn't like the way that it was just kind of like trying to reassure her that she had no idea I was.
Okay, so I wanted to actually record her live instead of streaming it, but it looks like her live ended. I don't know if it's her device or something on Instagram's end, but as of late, when Keke does go live now, ever since a lot of the drama exploded earlier this month, her lives get interrupted. But what she said in the 11 minutes that we've seen so far, she actually clarified, it was probably before I started recording. She actually clarified during this live that production gave her the okay to attend the cast trip. So pretty much what that says, at least to me, is even if the Scots did not want Keke to be there, obviously the Scots' wishes did not trump what production called for. So they called for Keke to attend that cast trip so that they could film scenes with her and get conversation surrounding the water toss. That makes sense to me from a producer standpoint. Keke said that she was planning on charging a particular blogger $500 for an interview, but she said she told the blogger, but for you, I'll charge you $350. And I believe that she is saying this to try and soften the blow of having received $100 from a blogger, someone that she does not know personally. And $100, is that enough to like go on a huge vacation or do anything extravagant? Maybe not, but that $100, that could have been groceries and toiletries or gas or paying a utility bill. So that was still significant that she would take that money from someone that's not in her household or in her immediate family. I believe she's saying that to soften the blow for her taking that money. Now, I have not paid any reality TV stars for interviews. In journalism, it becomes an ethics issue to pay for an interview, because if the person says anything incriminating or controversial, then as a defense, they could say that, you paid them to say it. And Keke also said that she was hurt by Mel when she did not speak up for her on the cast trip during the counseling session. So I feel like that is some misguided anger. I would be more so disturbed by the quote unquote therapist. And also, Melody was not the only person in that setting that could have asked the therapist to ease up on her. There was Stormy and her husband Courtney. If any of the Scots had a heart and they weren't celebrating and how that therapist was talking to Keke. There was also the Fletchers. They could have interjected. There was lots of other people that could have spoken up, not just Melody. So I think that that's misguided anger that Keke has. I imagine at this point she has gone on ahead and gone live again. So I'll go ahead and stream it live. The Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary of her IG Live is allowed for criticism. I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video and please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not done so. I noticed at the bottom, it said live video ended, but in my mind, I was taking notes and I was thinking, oh, maybe it will refresh. And then I'm like, oh no, it has ended. So Instagram has ended her live. I hope that no one reported it, but I am going to go ahead and stream the rest of it live, assuming that she has gone live again. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I will talk with you all soon. Bye.